He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord.
Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free.
Do you believe in life after addiction? You better believe it. Now, the host of Life After Addiction.
Hey,
We're back, baby.
Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year, dude. The 2024 has begun.
2024, baby. Love God more
That's right.
in 2024.
That's right.
That's my mantra.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's 2024, man.
2024. Welcome back, guys. It is a new year, and we are going to have a new gear. We have a cool episode ready for you today, but wanted to give a shout out. We have two new members. Well, one is kind of a rejoin, but Miranda Dickerson is a new member, and then M, know who you are. Thank you for coming back. You said you had to cancel your YouTube channel, so it made you cancel this. So thank you so much. Again, what this is, it's called a sowing a seed. You get a few perks. I think it's $2.99 a month. You get a percentage off at our shop. You get a shout out. You get a few things, but it's really not about the perks. It's about you're sowing into this ministry of Life After Addiction. And so members, thank you so much. It is awesome. Man, I'm excited. Did you have a good New Year's?
I had a good New Year's. Well, I mean, I worked New Year's Day, so I got back from a trip on New Year's Eve.
Okay.
And so that was good, but I don't even remember the cliffhanger that I left.
I do.
Do you?
Yeah.
How did it go?
Let me get there.
Okay. All right.
Let me get there.
All right.
So, so thank you to the members. Still rocking and rolling, man. Still enjoying the studio. Let me think. Is there anything else that we talked about? Christmas coming in. This episode's coming out January 5th. I will say, tune in next week. This week's kind of a fun, a cool episode for us, for the Life After Addiction family. But tune in next week. We're going to actually talk about some real practical tools that you should put in your tool belt for 2024, whether it's you struggle with addiction or not. So you left, that we had a comment, and it said that Chitty left us with a cliffhanger at the end of last week's episode, and basically said, should I tell him? No, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until I have pictures and whatnot of this. But I want to give us a throwback. If you're a longtime listener, episode 55.
Ooh, episode 55. What are we at right now? 15.
15.
Okay.
We're at 115. So a long time ago.
Yeah.
Episode 55, I started the episode off with reading the scripture. It's out of Proverbs.
Okay.
It says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. And what we did on that episode, I think you had just graduated college. You were going to enter into the dating game. And so we set you up with a Christian Mingles account.
Yeah.
That you never checked.
I never activated it. It was too much.
And so we did all this work. We set your profile up on the episode, and then you never checked it. But the reason I bring that up is because that cliffhanger that you left us with last week might have something to do with the scripture I just read.
Yes, it does. It has something to do with it indeed. And so on December 22nd, I proposed and got engaged to the woman of my dreams.
Here's a picture of the...
And boom, I sent Jorian several pictures. I will have to verify that Nicole is okay with the pictures that I sent to be posted. But yeah, man, I got engaged on the 22nd, and it was just such a beautiful day in every single way, man. I was on the way, so I rented out. I mean, a lot of our viewers probably aren't local, but for those of you who are local, in Murfreesboro, there's a place called the Fountains.
Yep.
And they have, if you follow the little hike and bike trail behind the Fountains, there's a little place called Gateway Island. And it's surrounded by like a couple ponds, and it's just a beautiful little area with a gazebo. So I rented that out. And ended up decorating the gazebo and, having a little wooden arch in the middle. And I'll send Jorian pictures of this as well so you can kind of get a picture of what I'm saying. But I did that day, and, I got it all set up that morning. Mike helped me. Tom was there, and Rick was there. And then JoJo, shout out to JoJo as well. She was there to help. And it was just such a beautiful day, man. But I'm on the drive there, and, I just couldn't help but think about God's faithfulness in my life, in so many ways. When I came and I moved to Tennessee almost 6 years ago, my life was in a completely different place.
Yeah.
Like a completely different place. And then I'm driving to propose to an amazing, incredible, loving, kind, caring, compassionate, Proverbs 31 godly woman.
Yeah.
And I was just so humbled that God, you would see me fit for a woman as such. And I just remember coming here and going through the program, not one, but 3 times, and becoming an intern and then becoming staff and then, going to school and all the things that I've got to be a part of over the last 6 years of my life. And I really feel like God was growing me to this day.
Yeah.
To that day on the 22nd, to become the man for the woman that he had for me, and for the someday, husband and father that I will be in the future. And it was just a culmination of so many God moments that I had up to this point, and it was just so beautiful from start to finish that day. So we went on several dates at the fountains. It's like the halfway point. I live in Woodbury. She lives in Franklin, so it's like our halfway point. And we went on several dates there, and we've had several walks on that hike and bike trail.
So she wasn't expecting it. It was like,
So she was, but she wasn't. So she doesn't like surprises. She's a big planner. She didn't know the exact day, but the months leading up to it,
Yeah.
I just gave her around about end of the year, and she loves December. She loves Christmas. So she would have all our weekends booked out. We're doing this day. We're doing that.
Yeah.
So she had a roundabout idea of like maybe when it would be. And we had to pray through things. She works at a church. We had to pray through her calling and what she felt she wanted to do and in the future and where we would live and just different things like that, where our home church would be. So we had to communicate about some things prior to.
Sure.
So she had an idea, I would say, of the day. And then she told me that she had a niche that it was going to be that day. But we get there and man, so I'm like, I was doing prayer laps around the Gateway Island beforehand, just like, all right, God, I don't want to black out and just my heart be beating out of my chest and yada, yada, yada. So I got to get in several prayer laps before she got there. But I met her at the fountains and we ended up walking. And this walk is probably a few hundred yards before you make it to Gateway Island. And dude, I was actually cool, calm, and collected the whole time. I felt like. And so I had
prayer is a powerful thing.
Prayer is a powerful thing. And so I had a photographer on the island, and last minute I allowed Tom to stay on the island and just like get a little video of it. And so the plan was whenever I opened the gate, like it made this dragging sound, like you could hear it scraping the concrete, that Tom would play the song. And so we get to where the gate is and it's closed off. And I'm just like, hey, I need to go to the restroom. Let's try and see if there's a restroom over here that I can use. I drag the gate open and Tom plays the song. And it's a song. It's called I Guess I'm in Love by Clinton Kane. Go check it out if you want. It's a super sweet song. But it was just special to us when we first heard it. We just felt like it was, I wouldn't say our song, but it was a song that was very close to our hearts. And so that song starts playing, and I almost like immediately went into like this blackout place. But I was also conscious, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Sure.
No,
But,
you were there. The moment.
Yeah, it's just so much wrapped in one moment, like just so much wrapped in a moment. And I just remember looking at her saying, I'm so grateful for you and for who you are as a woman. And we got to embrace each other and give each other a hug. And then we like walked down this little trail, and I had rose petals leading up to the gazebo and stuff like that. But there was like 8 pillars around the gazebo. So I put a picture starting with our first picture right when we got in that we ever took, and then just different phases of our relationship around the pillars. So we walked through, talked about kind of each one, and then I went to the arch or under the arch and proposed to her there. I'll have a picture of it right here. But man, it was just such a beautiful moment. And God is so good. When you read that verse, Proverbs 18:22, it means so much more when you find the woman that God has set aside for you. I mean, she is so kind and funny and compassionate and loving and just makes me feel so loved. It's like the Lord is loving me through her. And I'm sure that's how he intended it to be, but I've never have found that person until her. And just, I'm starting to see that, like the one that God has for you, who loves the Lord first and foremost and has a relationship with him and seeks him first and foremost. Man, she loves you with a Christ-like love. And it's like, I don't know. It almost made me feel awkward at first just because I'm so used to not that kind of love.
Yeah.
You know?
You obtain favor from the Lord, man.
Yes. And gosh, it's the greatest favor that I've ever had over my life. And it's just, it's such an amazing thing. So I did the proposal. We took some amazing pictures afterwards. We can post some of those right here as well. And then I had her 3 best friends and their significant others at a restaurant at the Fountains that were waiting on us. She thought we were just going to eat, her and I had 3 good close friends of mine, 3 close friends of hers and all their spouses. And we pull up, we get into the restaurant and she's thinking it's just us. And then we just hear all these screams from the back of the restaurant. And she's just like, oh my gosh. So it was so incredible. I got to stay in Franklin the next few days until we went out of town. After that, so we got to go to the Franklin Theater a couple times.
At a friend's house.
Yes, at a friend's house, that is.
Yeah.
I stayed at a friend's house while he was out of town. Obviously didn't stay with her, but thank you for the clarification.
You're welcome. No, he's doing it right. It's important to tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing it right. I mean, for those just tuning in, you know, the God calls us to if we just go into it,
Yeah.
right? Is that okay? I mean, he's doing it righteously. He's dating righteously. He's honoring God in his relationship, and therefore he wants God to honor his relationship.
Yeah.
And what that means is he's not going to sleep with her. He's not going to put himself in situations like that. And so, man, that's an honorable thing, especially nowadays, man.
Yeah.
Especially today when it's like, you're weird for that, you know, or that's not the norm. That's not what I see on TV. That's not what I see on Instagram. That's not, why are you doing that, man? Because he loves the Lord. And he wants to honor God in his relationship, so God honors his relationship. So that's something we've spoken of. Let me say this. You said JoJo. Shout out to JoJo and Pat. Pat's a staff member of ours. He's the life coach. They just got married this weekend.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I had the honor of officiating that wedding, and it was beautiful, man. You're just talking about the beauty of it. It was a really cool moment for both their families to be there, and it was really special. 7 people came up and said this is the best officiating wedding I've ever heard. 7 after the wedding. I was like, hey.
It's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal.
And you weren't even going to mention it on this podcast until I brought it up.
Until you brought it up.
Right.
But honestly, man, back to you, I'm just, I have just this joy in my heart, in my soul, because she's such a good woman.
She's incredible.
And God is showing his favor on you. And, I'm proud of the whole journey, man. Just even if you go back to episode 55, the reason that we were doing that is because I was kind of pushing him into dating because he had made a decision. He said, God's called me to go to school. I'm not going to date because that's a distraction until after school. And you stuck to that, and it was hard, right? I don't know. I was just proud of the way that you went about this righteously, and I think you see in the fruit of it with an amazing woman of the Lord, and she's so good for you, man.
Man, I appreciate that. It's been a journey, and this, gosh, I just can't help but speak so highly of her. This woman is a spiritual warrior.
Yeah.
Like, I remember the first time she prayed over me, I was just like, oh my goodness, this woman knows the Lord. But even continues to do so. Like, I'll get random 5-minute voice memos of her literally just praying over me.
Nice.
And it's just like incredible to have that. Or the first time we worship together, or just reciting scripture together, or sharing verses, or whatever the case is, that woman's love for the Lord is so attractive. And her desire for the things of God is so attractive to me. And just the way we respect one another and communicate and talk to one another. And it's just been so of God. And I've had so many God moments or assurances that this has been from the Lord since day one.
Yeah.
And it just continues to feel that way. I joke with her because, like, man, I'm a very uncertain person when it comes to most things. Like, if you ask me if I want to hang out a week from now, I don't know. Let me see how my week goes. If we go out to eat, I don't know where I want to go. Once we get there, I don't know what I want to get. And it's like, I'm like that in a lot of different things, you know. But when it came to her, I was certain about it.
Yeah.
Like, I was certain about it. And then once I heard from the Lord when I went to meet her parents in Boston, I just knew that, man, this is the one that the Lord has for me.
Yeah.
And so it's just been so amazing every step of the way, and just how thoughtful she is, how hardworking she is, like how just nurturing she is. I mean, just there's so many qualities that I see in her that I'm like, yes.
Yeah. And she, man, it's also, I haven't gotten to talk with her a ton, but to me, it is very evident how much she loves you too. And it's just cool to see, man. It's just cool to see. And so you mentioned going up to Boston to see her family, and you also a few minutes ago said you were going out of town.
Yep.
And so you recently took her down to
Yeah.
the worst state. I mean, what was it? What state is it again?
The greatest country in the world.
That's right.
Texas.
Texas.
You
So
know?
tell us about that, man. How was it introducing her to the family?
Yeah,
I mean, I think obviously they were aware and stuff like that, but I mean, how was that around Christmas time and New Year's?
It was incredible. So yeah, we had a good few days after the engagement here in Franklin and went to the movies and did a couple things. Went to her aunt and uncle's house for Christmas, and that was awesome. And then we flew out the 26th, and we got to spend time with my dad, and she got to meet my brothers and my nieces and nephews and several aunt and uncles. See, what I found out is when you go home with a fiance, aunt and uncles and relatives come out the woodworks wanting to see you. You know what I'm saying? So everybody was texting me, hey, can we get lunch? Hey, can we get dinner? Or whatever it was. So she got to meet several aunts and uncles. She met my granny. She met my Grammy. She met my mother. And, man, we just had such a good time with everything that we did. Every person that she met and everything that we did was just so perfect. We had the best weather. We got to go to the Houston Zoo. She loves animals. I love animals. And we got to, we have the best zoo in the world, which is Houston, Texas. So you would expect that from Houston, Texas. But we got to see giraffes and lions and elephants and
There's
tigers
like a list. We
and
can pull
jaguars.
up a list of top zoos, and Houston would maybe be 30th out of
the best zoo in the nation. I agree. I agree with
definitely
what
better than Nashville. I'll tell you, Nashville Zoo is trash. But yeah, man, I know that there's a God because of miracles, and we just heard one. Nicole met the Chittister clan and is still with you.
That's right. That's right. She actually loved it. Man, my family is
No, I'm just joking.
super cool, man. I really enjoyed it. And she
I'm
got
joking,
to see,
Chittisters. I'm joking. Come on, it's we
Dude, blast him
riff
in the comments, dude.
They already do, but we riff on each other. I love the Chittisters. I love your boy, your brother, your son. But I have to riff on you a little bit.
I hear you.
Someone's got to keep his ego in check. So.
I hear you, but it was special, man, because like our whole relationship. Oh, so that was something we did for my parents. We made both of them a photo album of our whole relationship, starting from like the first picture we ever took to the engagement and the proposal. Cool. And so we got to share in that. We wrote little captions out to the sides of the pictures and just got to share our relationship with them since they live in Houston. They haven't been able to be a part of anything. And that was the first time for the majority of my family to meet her. And it was just so special. I'm really close with my family. I love my family dearly. I don't get to see them as often as I would like just because I was going to school and full-time ministry and just different things. And it's a far distance as well to travel, but man, just having them be able to meet her, and they were absolutely in love with her, which I knew they would be. Yeah. How could you not? You know? Sure. But they absolutely loved her. They were so happy for me. They're excited for the wedding that will be in the coming months. So we're excited for that.
Hey, I'm down with that. I think. You know, at this stage, you've dated. There's no sense in having a long engagement. Right. You know what I mean? And in my opinion, if you've started things off right and you're dating to marry and you do it righteously, I think a short engagement is probably wise. Yeah. You know, I think it's wise, and so tomorrow they're getting married.
Yes. No, tomorrow, January 6th.
No. Well, no, I'm joking. But yeah, man, I'm tickled to death. What else do you think? What else? What does God hit you with? Obviously joy and those kind of things. But is there anything that God's put on you just kind of with this whole experience, and whether it be the engagement, whether it be looking back as we kind of went down memory lane, talking about, you know, the decisions that you made not to do this and then to do this, and then, you know, you dated a few people. We talked about on one episode, I think. I can't remember what episode that was, what God taught you in that. Yeah. And then, man, now just like the joy.
I'm just filled with such gratitude and God's favor. Like the verse you read, it's just God's favor on my life. Like this woman is absolutely incredible and beautiful inside and out. And I just think back to, like I said, where I was when I got here to what my life looks like now. And I just want to encourage anybody who's watching this. Like, I desired to die 6-7 years ago. Like my genuine desire was to die. And in fact, I was praying to die, feeling hopeless that there was no way out of the addiction I have found myself in for over a decade. Wow. And here I am today with the woman of my dreams. Wow. Just rejoicing at God's faithfulness and his goodness and his favor over my life. And it has been an amazing journey. It's been a difficult journey. There's been trials and tribulations and good times and bad times and ugly times and everything in between. But, man, I learned how to not waver on the truth that is in God's word. I know who he is, man. I know who I am in Christ. I know that my hope lies with him and him alone. And so I no longer allow temporary emotions to cause me and dictate me to make permanent decisions based off those. Sometimes you got to stand or sit in the suck. And, man, that's just life. Life is not fair. There's going to be a lot of bad things that happen. There's going to be a lot of unjust or unfair things or cruel things that happen. Man, that's just life. But that's not going to prevent me or stop me from walking in the light of the Lord. And, yeah, I guess just gratitude, man. And I'm so humbled that God would bestow the greatest gift that he's ever bestowed upon me apart from salvation in the form of her. Yeah. And it's like, God, you're entrusting me because, man, she may be my fiance now. She may be my wife one day or is going to be my wife one day. The greatest title she'll ever have is daughter of the Most High King. That's right. And I think that's something he's really put on me is like, you steward her as such, as daughter of the Most High King, not just fiance, not just wife. Man, she is my daughter, and love her, respect her, cherish her, treat her as such. And you talked about doing things the right way. Gosh, it makes it that much more easy when you have a woman whose first and foremost desire is to honor God, to respect God, to love God, to serve God. And whenever you're trying to do the same thing as a man and you're on the same path as her and you desire the same things and your worldview is the same, it makes it that much easier. You know, it makes it that much easier. We set firm boundaries up front and talked about what those boundaries were. Yeah. We told each other, you know, when we're going to wait to say I love you till we're engaged. We're going to wait till we kiss on the lips till we're engaged. We're going to wait till we do these things. And, man, I just see the benefit of doing things God's way. Like, who would have thought God knew better than us when it came to relationships and marriage? Yeah. Well, no, duh. But, man, I've never been in a godly relationship in my life. And it's just so drastically different when you do it his way. Yeah. Like, it's so significant when you do it his way. It's so much more like, it was funny, man. So we've only said I love you for what? Maybe 2 weeks. But even that in and of itself, it's like it's spiritually impactful when you say it now. Like the weight of it, man, it's just so weighty whenever we say that. And, I can't describe it, but in the spiritual realm, it's so significant. It's so beautiful. It's so powerful. And I'm just grateful to God for everything that's been happening in our relationship. I'm excited to have her be my wife soon. And
can we put a little picture up of the ring right here?
Boom.
I mean, how'd he do?
Ooh. Boom. She loved it. So.
Golly, if I had your money, I'd burn mine, dude. Look at that. Look at that diamond. Look at that diamond right there, boy. Nice. You did good.
Thank you.
Katie even said that it was really pretty. It was a really good ring. Really nice ring.
Yeah, but it's just been so amazing. It's been wonderful. I'm ecstatic. I can't wait to get married to her and to, you know, start a family and live happily ever after. And, man, I'm just so grateful to the Lord. I couldn't have handpicked a better woman for me, but that's what God does.
Yeah. And so this was obviously a fun episode, man, especially for the Life After Addiction LAA family. So much joy and just proud for you, man. Proud for you, proud of you. And, you know, obviously you're watching this. Maybe you're not in the same place. Maybe you're not, and it may be hard to watch. And I'll leave you with this. He said something. He said it kind of fast. He said, stand or sit in the suck. Another way of saying it is embrace the suck. Yeah. Just in the aspect of knowing that maybe your faith for today is just knowing that God is sovereign, and his word says that in these moments that they're producing something in you. You might not know what it is. It's not going to feel good. It feels bad, actually. But even in those moments, too, it's an opportunity for us to trust in another promise that he makes, and it's come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, I'll give you rest for your soul. So if that's you today, trust the promises of God. Come draw closer to him. Know that this season he's doing something. But yeah, man, y'all leave in the comments. Congratulations to Chitty and Nicole. It's a really beautiful time, man. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, I'm excited. So shout out to Nicole.
Her social security number's right
Yes,
here.
her bank information.
Her bank information and her address right here.
Actually, we'll put our Cash Apps right here, though. If you want to donate to the honeymoon fund, you're more than welcome.
We'll get 10%.
Yeah. No, but man, I'm just so grateful. It's been an amazing, I mean, what a better start to 2024 than getting engaged to the woman of your dreams.
Watch out now.
Having a wedding, in the near future. And then, someday starting a beautiful family. So exciting stuff in store for my life.
That's awesome, man. Anything else?
I think that's it, baby.
That's life after addiction. That is life after addiction,
Come
baby.
on.
You better believe it.
Let's go.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Life After Addiction. Life After Addiction is a production of S2L Studio. For more Christ-centered addiction recovery resources, please visit s2l.net. That's S2L.net. For more information about S2L's licensed and accredited residential program, please visit s2lrecovery.org. That's S2L recovery.org.